Hello and welcome to Professor Kev Show. As you can see, I have my friend Akil with us, and he's from Mavora. Good morning, my friend. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So before we jump in and talk about your idea, tell us a little bit about yourself. What should we know about you?
Yeah, so I am Akhil Kumar, and I'm a student at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign studying computer science, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Mavora, where we're building software for ground transportation companies to help them run their business more efficiently.
So let's step back. Tell me a little bit about Mavora. Why did you start this idea? What need, what opportunity did you see in the market?
Yeah, so Mavora originally started through an internship experience. So I was actually tasked with building a very small AI agent module to help the customer service team at a Midwestern transportation company. But across my entire summer, the curious kid I was, I began observing the entire operations and then the entire workflow. I started noting down that driver times were being scheduled on paper. I started noting down and recognizing that drivers were coming in and marking off completed trips in person. I started recognizing that billing was done on sticky notes, through messages, through emails, right? And all the vehicles are tracked on spreadsheets. And so I kind of put together the whole picture during my internship that, hey, this company is basically running everything on a pretty fragmented workflow. And so that's where this idea from Mavora kind of started. We dived deep into the transportation industry to learn more about how these companies actually function, how they actually operate. And if you look at the tech stack today versus 20 years ago, it's practically the same and there's not a lot of technology. And so we found kind of an opening and we saw that there's an opportunity here to really make some software to help these companies run more efficiently, because right now the biggest problem we've learned is they're not able to grow, they're not able to scale, because if they want to, they have to double the headcount, or they have to keep their margins ultimately stay flat if they do that. And so there's no efficient way for them to grow. And so we looked at the entire workflow and we said, let's kind of eliminate some of that busy work and allow these teams to focus on what truly matters. And so we actually went back to that very first company that I had interned at, showed them a software we had built. So we are currently working on conversational quoting. And basically, what that kind of entails is that today you're booking a trip for a transportation company, you're going to be filling out a form on their website. And that's a static form, right? And most of the time, especially for charter companies, which is who we're kind of tackling right now, that doesn't collect enough information. It doesn't show the price for your trip. And it often results in a 2 to 3 day, turnaround time to get a quote back, right? And so what we're able to do is we're able to deliver that real-time quote right there, because we have, a conversational chat asking the same follow-up question that a receptionist would do. And so we went back to that company. That became our first client. And so now we're working on integrating that with other charter companies.
So what was the feedback from this company? Because you're making huge changes, but very good, positive changes. But again, when you've been doing something the same way for 20 years, and this college kid comes in and tells you, hey, I can make it better, but maybe I'm not comfortable with technology, you might be scaring me a little bit, bud.
Yeah, no, that's a great question, right? So, I mean, like I said before, the technology stack for these companies is not that widespread. It's not the forefront of this industry, right? It's a phone call, spreadsheets, emails type of industry. And so, what we had originally done is we had created a platform to kind of help streamline the entire workflow, right, from A to Z. And then, like as you mentioned, we quickly learned that they did not want to adopt all of this technology, right? I think the biggest problem that we were facing is definitely that trust aspect, right? How can you convince a 20, 30, 85-year-old operator to switch to a platform that a college student built, telling them, hey, this is going to increase your revenue, right? And so what we actually did is, if you look at the overarching workflow of these companies, like quoting, then you have your billing, monitoring, driver tracking and things like that. We started with the quoting aspect first, and so we're just tackling that, which is the conversational quoting that we're introducing, right? And so through that, basically what we're able to do, even for our first company, is one, make the integration super easy, because these companies don't have a lot of technology, and so a lot of companies don't even have existing APIs to integrate with and things like that, right? And so each company has a different workflow, and we have to work around that. And so we've been learning how to integrate, which is why we sticked to the first part of the workflow, which is quoting. And then the second part is that trust aspect, right? If we're able to prove our product through the conversational coding idea, they're more inclined to use the rest of the software. They're more inclined to deploy more agents to help eliminate some of the work that they're spending hours on that they don't need to do anymore with this type of software. And so definitely trust has been the biggest challenge, but we've been able to overcome that by proving the product works well in their environment.
But that makes perfect sense where you started because A, it's I think it's the important step. As a potential client, I want the quote right now. Hey, I want to ship this. I want to know what it's going to cost. I don't want to wait 2 or 3 days to find out, geez, it's more than I thought. Maybe I got to drive it myself or something, type of thing and stuff. So fast forward 3 years. Where do you see the idea?
Yeah. So the way that our software is built is we can kind of automate any specific workflows in the conversational realm, and we are continuing to build our architecture that specific way. We found a specific niche in transportation, specifically charter companies, and so we're starting with that. We want to be able to enable people to book from anywhere at any time, right? Through text, through phone, through conversational chats. But ultimately, we want to also streamline the rest of the workflow, right? And so, the billing, the driver recognition, ultimately create it into a very cohesive piece where people are able to run the business super efficiently. And then in 3 years, we hope to expand out of that vertical transportation industry. So we hope to go to other industries that involve booking, other industries that have the same problems as transportation, right? Are lagging in technology, are spending a lot of busy work or time on busy work. And we hope to apply the same methods and the same technologies in those industries as well. So we want to start in transportation, and in 3 years, we're going to become a very solid automation layer that can connect any workflow and can help run a business more efficiently.
What's the best way for people to reach out to you? How can they learn more, my friend?
Yeah, so they can reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's my name, Akhil Kumar. They can also reach out to me on email, which is akhil@mavora.ai. And then our company's webpage is mavora.ai. So you can also book a meeting through that as well.
Awesome. I appreciate you taking a few minutes to call the show. And as always, thanks for being my friend.
All right. Thank you so much.